Hey everybody, welcome to the Addiction Unlimited podcast, where you get to learn everything you want to know about addiction and recovery. I'm your host, Angela Pugh, co-founder of Kansas City Recovery, life coach, and recovering alcoholic. To learn more about me, you can listen to episode 0 on your podcast app or find us on the web at addictionunlimited.com. Hello, my friends. Welcome to episode number 140 of the Addiction Unlimited podcast. I'm your coach, Angela Pugh. Boy, do we have some things to catch up on. It's holiday time. I love holiday time. And to make sure you are getting the support you need through all the stress and drama, we are going to do a whole month of coaching episodes. Just you and me figuring out how to get through this time of year with the outcome you want. And think about that. What outcome do you want? Of course, you know I want to stay sober. I want to smile and laugh and connect with my family. I want to feel good and relaxed. I want to stay dedicated to my workout routine. And did I mention I want to stay sober? Today, we're going to talk about expectations and how to manage them so they don't turn into anger and resentment. We love to put our expectations on everything and everyone and then get mad at them when they don't perform the way we want them to. So we're going to work out all those details today, and I will get back to interviews after the first of the year, and I have some fantastic conversations to share with you guys. We have some really good interviews coming up, and I'm sure you've already heard me say it, but I can't freaking wait for 2021. We have a busy couple of months in front of us. I want to fill you in on what you need to know for now. For those of you who have been on the Sober Society wait list, I sent you a private email last week with a special invitation. There will not be another one. So if you didn't get it and you know you're on that wait list and you want to join, check your spam folder because I sent that email. And there won't be another one like that. So the end of the year will be the end of those opportunities. And if you are interested in joining Sober Society, it will be open for new members in January. I can't wait. It hasn't been open since like August or something. So it's going to be amazing to have some new people join us, to have new people in our online meetings, which we are up to 3 per week now, 3 online meetings a week. Also in January, we're going to do a 5-day challenge. It's going to be awesome. And I will fill you in on all of those details as we get closer. So already in January, we have the 5-day challenge. The membership will open for about a week for new people to join. And then I'm doing a webinar to set New Year intentions, and that will be open to everyone for free also. And we'll start our next class of my signature coaching program, which is the 6-week program, and it's awesome. And we'll start the next round of that about mid to the end of January, something like that. You see what I'm saying? Super busy month to start 2021. And that is just the energy we need. We're going to fly through these holidays and have a ton of fun. We have a lot to look forward to in 2021 with some relief from coronavirus, hopefully. And we are all ready to jumpstart our lives again. So let's start 2021 with a bang. You know, one of the most exciting things to me is getting some new people. We have such an incredible community in the Sober Society, and I can't wait to get to meet new people that will be joining us. You know, it's so fun to bring people into the circle and get to know one another and to see those people who are dedicated to their sobriety with a fresh perspective and wanting to connect and grow. It's so, so good. And I don't know about everyone else, but you and me, we're starting 2021 right. We're going to set our intentions. We're getting excited and getting to work on our sobriety in our lives. And I can't wait to meet you in real life. Well, I guess in Zoom real life for now, because all we can really do is Zoom. Okay, my lovely friends, let's dig into this topic. Expectations are premeditated resentments. This always strikes a chord for me when I hear it, of course, because there's so much truth in this simple statement. When I started this journey of recovery, this is yet another piece of my puzzle that I didn't understand or recognize. I had zero understanding that I put all these expectations on people and outcomes and situations. And then I ended up mad when it didn't go the way I thought it should go. And I know you're going to relate to this too, because it's human nature. It's something everyone does, addiction or no addiction. These expectations are out here running wild in the streets, people. Let me give you a simple example. I caught myself on this one many, many years ago when I was just learning about expectations, okay? I'm driving to my boyfriend's house, and remember, many years ago, I did not pick the best boyfriends, right? And this was definitely one of the not best ones. So I'm driving over there. I'm excited to see him. He was in a pretty good mood when we were on the phone. So I'm thinking I'm going to get there. When I walk in, he's going to give me a fantastic hug and he's going to be really sweet. And it's going to be this magical moment. And it didn't happen that way at all. I walked in, he was in the middle of something else and was kind of dismissive, like he didn't care if I was there or not, and he was going to finish what he was doing, whether I was there or not. And of course, my feelings were hurt, and I sat down and I just got quiet, doing a little pouting. Now, I didn't take it to any extreme, like start a fight with him or anything like that. I'm not really a fighter like that. I think it's kind of a waste of energy. And most of the time you end up in a fight because you aren't really listening to your person and they aren't really listening to you. And on top of that, you're usually arguing over opinions, which to me is really silly because opinions aren't right or wrong. They're not facts to fight about. And there's no law that says you have to agree, right? Like we're all allowed to disagree. Everyone is perfectly allowed to have their own opinion and it doesn't make them wrong. But when we fight, we're typically fighting to be heard and try to make our person agree with us instead of hearing each other out, figuring out the compromise, and respecting one another's thoughts and opinions. And sometimes a good fight is just what you need to get everything out on the table and you come back stronger than ever, as long as no one is pulling any low blows in the fight and name calling and things like that. This is a good example too. You go into a conversation with someone and you have an expectation of how they're going to respond or react. You expect they're going to be understanding and kind and loving and totally hear you and agree with you. And you're going to walk away from the conversation with a smile, feeling really good about it. But really, that expectation is that you're going to get your way. So when it starts to go a different direction and you see you aren't getting your way, you start to get mad. If your person isn't just agreeable and willing to do what you want, the tone starts to turn to anger and resentment and we fight. I think special occasions fall into this too. Have you ever had like the birthday party that you plan and invite all your friends and you buy a special outfit for it and you're so excited. You spend 2 weeks thinking about all the fun you're going to have and all the fun your friends are going to have and it's going to be epic. Then the day comes and it falls totally flat. Like your new shoe breaks before you ever get out of the house. 4 of your friends text at the last minute that they can't make it. Your hair won't cooperate. And then it rains. Like it's a mess. I can't tell you how many times this has happened to me, not just birthdays, but even just nights out, right? You get so excited and those expectations are going up and up and up. And at some point, that level of excitement creates an expectation that just can't be attained, The really bad thing about this is when our expectations aren't met, it leaves us bummed, sad, mad, disappointed. And then we can't even enjoy the situation as it is because we just feel disappointed and let down. Expectations get us in a couple of ways. One is the expectation we put on others, right? Expecting a certain response from one or a certain greeting when you walk in the room, like I talked about, expecting an outcome that you predetermine in your head. The other is the expectations you put on yourself. Sometimes we even combine the two, and that's a real disaster waiting to happen. Let's do another example. Husband makes a surprise romantic dinner for wife. He shops, he cooks. Before she gets home, he has her favorite flowers, candles lit. He's being amazing and thoughtful. Wife comes in the door, not in a great mood, and says, "Thanks, babe. I've just had a really horrible day. I want to take a shower and go to bed." How would you respond in that situation? That's a hard one. If you're the husband, you worked your buns off for this surprise. You thought she was going to come in and be surprised and happy and appreciative, and you were going to score major points. Instead, it fell totally flat, and you get nothing except a mess to clean up and good food to put away. It would be very easy to get angry. The committee will definitely start chattering away all the hard work you've put into this, and she didn't even care, didn't even acknowledge all the planning and thought that went into it, all the time cooking and preparing, and she didn't even notice the flowers. She's so ungrateful. No matter what I do, it's never enough. Yada, yada, yada. You know the committee. The truth is, she can't help that she had an exhausting day. She isn't intentionally ruining your beautiful dinner. And this is where some good old-fashioned emotional intelligence comes into play too. You have to be able to put the selfishness to the side, right? Don't get caught up in your feelings and disappointment, but instead check on your person and make sure they're okay. In this scenario, you were doing something really thoughtful and kind for your person, and being kind to them was your whole purpose, and you were thrown a curveball. But stay in the mindset of being kind. Shift your focus to how you can be kind to them as they are exhausted and just want to lie down. Maybe you can make them a cup of tea and set it outside the shower. Move the flowers from the dinner table to the bedroom so she can appreciate them there. Give an extra hug or give some extra space if that's what your person needs. Instead of getting into anger and disappointment, stay on your original path of being kind. Here's one that took some practice for me. I used to immediately think people didn't like me if they didn't say hello to me or acknowledge me or return phone calls and text messages. This is kind of crazy when I think about it now, but I do have this default mode of immediately going to, oh, I don't think that person likes me anymore. And like if I walked into my AA meeting and I saw someone across the room and I expected they would be happy to see me or give me a big smile and say hello or wave, if that didn't happen, I'd sit through the whole meeting thinking like, did I do something? Do they not like me anymore? Did I say something wrong without realizing it? And I'd be playing over and over in my head like the last 10 conversations we had, trying to figure out if I like inadvertently hurt their feelings or something. Same thing with phone calls. If I called you and left a message and 2 or 3 days went by without a response, the committee would immediately start telling me, you don't like me anymore. I had a guy from my home group one time. He approached me at our annual AA conference, and I kind of knew him. Like I saw him at meetings and probably said hello and whatever, but I didn't know him well, like we had coffee or hung out or anything. And he came up to me at the conference and he was like, Angela, I just want to ask because I'm not sure, but have I done something to upset you? Because I feel like you don't talk to me anymore. You don't say hello in meetings. And I don't know if I did something to offend you. And for me on the other side of it, I was kind of shocked. I was like, well, Heck no, you haven't done anything. But he thought he had offended me somehow just based on his expectation of how I would greet him, right? I don't even think we ever had enough conversation that he would have offended me. I don't think we spoke that much. It's just that I didn't meet the expectation in his head. And we all fall prey to that, right? We can all fall into that. So let's talk about some solutions. You know, I love solutions. I like solutions way more than the problems. The first thing is don't personalize it. If someone doesn't behave the way you thought they would or the way you expected them to, it's probably not about you. With that gentleman who thought he offended me somehow, he wasn't on my radar at all. My behavior had nothing to do with him. I was just being me. The truth is, I'm pulled 1,000 directions every minute of the day. My phone is blowing up with emails, calls, and texts, and I'm usually just in my head thinking about the next six things I have to do. And I'm an introvert, which means I live predominantly in my thoughts. And to other people, that can come off really aloof and even kind of unfriendly because I'm just always consumed in my thoughts. And I think when I'm not paying attention, I don't look very friendly. I cannot tell you how many times, like when I was bartending, how many times I had people surprised that I was nice. And I remember at one point thinking like, what the hell is the look on my face that everybody thinks I'm not nice? Like, I'm really pretty nice and less provoked. You know, I'm a pretty nice human. And I just realized that I'm just always in my head. I'm always in my head and I'm not aware of what my facial expression is. So I'm usually where an extrovert would be looking up, making eye contact with people. Hey, what's up? How are you? Good to see you. I'm an introvert. I will be looking down and doing some kind of busy work because I'm thinking, I'm in my thoughts. And it's not my intention to seem unfriendly or uncaring. It's just my nature that I live in my thoughts. And it's a lot to manage, you know? And a large part of the time, I'm just not aware of people or what people are doing because I'm consumed in the 84 things happening in my head. As long as no one is in my personal space, I'm kind of in my own bubble. So start practicing not making things personal. When someone doesn't do what you want, it probably isn't about you. It isn't to hurt you or disappoint you or be against you. Also, don't assume you know why someone is doing what they're doing. This is an interesting phenomenon to me too, because we put all these judgments on each other and they're almost always negative and they're almost always wrong. I remember several years ago, I had a group that would meet in person and I had this lovely girl who came to my group like every week. I think I did it every other week. And she was there every single group. It was awesome. It was so much fun. And she invited me to a concert. She was so excited about this concert. Now, for me, again, introvert, right? A concert, it's like the last thing that I want to do. And I politely declined. Well, she personalized it and she made an assumption that I just didn't want to hang out with her. And she actually felt like less than, like I thought I was too good to hang out with her or something. It had nothing to do with it. And I could tell by her response that she was upset. So I reached out to her later and I was like, listen, here's the deal, dude. I have crowd trauma. I don't want to be in a crowd with people on all sides of me. It makes me horribly uncomfortable. My anxiety is through the roof. I don't like loud noise, so I don't want to be in a concert. Like music is not my thing. You know, I loved all that stuff when I was younger, but as I've gotten older, that's just not my idea of fun anymore. And I was like, Dana, I love you. It has nothing to do with you. You could ask me to do 72 other things and I'd probably be thrilled to do them. You just happened to ask me to do something that I don't like to do with anyone. You know, it's just not my vibe. But she put all these assumptions and honestly, I got a little irritated because I was like, well, dang, am I not allowed to just decline an invitation? You know, like, can't I just say no? Like, maybe I just didn't feel like it. You know, maybe remember I work 80 hours a week. So don't assume that you know and don't personalize it. And we make these assumptions and they're always negative. If someone doesn't use a turn signal to change lanes, people with road rage issues will cuss that person and call them an idiot or bitch about them texting and driving, like that person did something on purpose to you, when really they probably didn't even realize it. It was probably a simple mistake or oversight and not that person personally attacking you. Or like my situation, if someone declines an invitation, don't start making assumptions that they don't like you and don't want to spend time with you, or they're being selfish, or you're not good enough for them to hang out with, or whatever creative scenario the committee wants to paint for you. Maybe that person is just busy. Maybe they have healthy boundaries with their time and they just can't fit it in that week. And maybe they just don't feel like it. And that's perfectly okay too. There are plenty of times you just don't feel like doing something. So don't be irritated with someone else for having a moment of just not feeling like it. We all have those moments. I can be really bad about this assuming thing when people don't pick up after their dogs. I have really caught myself on this the last several months and have been working on it. Like I'll be out walking my dog, and if I see some dog poo that someone didn't pick up, I used to immediately go into this monologue in my head about how selfish and irresponsible that person must be. And if you can't clean up after your dog, then you probably don't have any business having a dog. It's so lazy and it's unsafe for our community and blah, blah, blah. All my superiority of being a great dog mom would be flying all over my brain. Then I caught myself in two situations. One, I was walking Henry one day and he takes forever, right? He has to stop and sniff every little thing. And I don't like to rush him because he gives me a ton of patience every day. And when we're outside, I want to give him a ton of patience and let him take his time and soak it all in. And to do that, I will be in my phone. So I'm not bugging him to hurry up. And I'll return emails and text messages while we're out. So here I am on my phone and Henry went poo and I didn't even realize it. I was wrapped up in what I was doing and I didn't even notice. Thankfully, one of my neighbors had her dog out and asked, she's like, "Hey, Angela, do you need a bag?" And that's when I realized he had gone. I had a bag. I always clean up after my dog. I just wasn't paying attention. The second situation was Henry woke me up in the middle of the night to go out. He has a weird disease called Addison's disease, and it gives him a lot of stomach problems. So he wakes me up and we go out, and it's the middle of the night. It's pitch black out there, and his poo is tiny. And there are a few lights out there, but if you get 7 or 8 feet from the light, you can't see anything. So I couldn't pick up after him because I couldn't see it. I did go and pick it up the next day when we were out and it was light, but those were two situations where my intention was not to be irresponsible or lazy or disrespectful to my community. So why, when I see some poo, do I automatically assume all those negative things about the person that didn't pick it up? Why wouldn't I instead assume that they may have been distracted just like I was and it was a simple oversight? I don't know why we immediately start attacking one another in our minds over every little thing, but I've really worked on this a lot these last several months. Don't just assume that people are bad and doing bad things on purpose because they're bad. 95% of people are really good, and sometimes we're careless and we make mistakes, and sometimes we disappoint and hurt one another. It doesn't make us bad. It just means we're human. Don't assume you know why somebody did what they did or didn't do what they didn't do, or assume they disappointed or hurt you intentionally, because most of the time that's just not the case. Next, realize that removing expectations from people and situations around you is not only good for you, but it's also showing kindness to others. Imagine how you feel when you're walking into a situation with people who are putting all kinds of expectations on you. It feels like a lot of pressure and like you have to perform. For a lot of us, this is family, right? Maybe it's your parents. Maybe your parents put a bunch of expectations on you. You can't just relax and enjoy yourself and be you because you're constantly trying to meet other people's expectations. Is that how you want people to feel around you? Heck no. And think about all the different ways you may do this, the expectations you put on your partner and how you want them to act or what you want them to do, or your kids and how you want them to behave or how you want them to dress or act or what you want them to wear or how you want them to wear their hair. All of those things are mostly to appease other people's expectations of you, trying to control the picture the outside world sees. Or what about your employees? Do you just expect them to perform a certain way without guidance from you? Are you communicating clearly and regularly and helping them grow? Or are you just getting irritated when they don't do what you expect? I for sure don't want people to feel like they're not meeting my expectations all the time. Think about how awful that feels when you feel like you're constantly disappointing someone. It's terrible. I don't want to make people feel that way, and I'm sure you don't either. Communication is key in all of this too. Let people know what's going on for you. Let people know what you're thinking and why you're feeling let down. In that situation I talked about earlier when I walked in my boyfriend's house and didn't get the hug and greeting I was hoping for, I sat down and was pouting a bit, and he asked me what was wrong, and I told him. Simple. I said, well, I thought I was going to come in and you were going to be happy to see me and give me a hug and I'd feel all warm and fuzzy. But you're busy, so that didn't happen, and I'm a little bummed about it. Like it's just that simple. Don't be the person that when somebody asks you what's wrong, you say, nothing, I'm fine. Or if somebody says, are you okay? Yeah, I'm good. It's nothing. It's so unfair, and you're setting your person up for failure, and then you'll be mad at them for letting you down. But we are responsible to speak up for ourselves, right? No one can read your mind, and it's not fair to expect them to. If you need something, say so. If you're upset about something, explain it. If someone threw you off a bit, just say that. Give people the opportunity to fix it, to apologize, to learn how to do it better next time. If you keep everything to yourself, then you don't get to be mad. If you aren't comfortable communicating, then that's exactly what you can start working on. You can Google it. You can hire a counselor or a coach to help you. You can read books, watch YouTube videos, learn how to communicate better and get more comfortable with that. I always say, just let things unfold. Instead of having expectations of what is going to happen or how it's going to happen or what people are going to do, let things unfold and then figure out your response to it. Don't let the committee get all carried away and blow things out of proportion and get you to overreact. This is especially important going into this holiday season as you are going into family gatherings and gifting and stress and trying to manage other people's thoughts and expectations of you. Try to walk in with zero expectations, except that you're going to have a wonderful, happy, and sober day. Don't expect that uncle who always has something rude to say is all of a sudden going to be different. If he's always rude, then just know he's going to be rude and move on with your day. Try to avoid him as much as possible, but don't take it personally when he says something rude, and certainly don't have some expectation that this year he's going to be different. If he's always a jerk, he's probably going to be a jerk this year too. It's not about you. It's about him being a jerk. And you don't have to react or engage. Manage your expectations about gifts and be happy that you get gifts instead of disappointed it may not be the exact thing you wanted. You decide what kind of day you're going to have before it starts. Don't let other people's expectations ruin your day. And don't let your expectations ruin anyone else's day, especially yours. And go back and listen to the last episode about how to get through these stressful situations so you can have a better plan. You can better plan your time with family and be prepared to care for yourself. This won't give you as much time to be disappointed in other things if you've got a good plan walking in. And really examine your expectations. We get ourselves in trouble when we expect people to behave a certain way, or we expect a certain outcome or result in situations, because things almost never go as expected. The nature of life is to throw you a curveball. The secret to success is to roll with it and not let it throw you off your game. Okay, my lovely friends, let's have an amazing holiday season. Let's love and enjoy one another, support each other, stay sober, and don't touch your face. We need to stay coronavirus free this holiday season. And don't forget to join our Facebook group for more support and discussion and all this good sober stuff. I'll link that in the show notes. And if you want to get your copy of the Powerless and Powerful Guided Recovery Journal, I will link that in the show notes as well. And you can find it on www.myrecoverytoolbox.com on the store page. Oh my gosh, I forgot to ask, how are you guys liking the gift list? It's getting shared a lot. So if you like it, share it with your friends and family. Again, this isn't anything I'm selling or making money from. It's just a list of some really cool gifts and some of my favorite gifts for people in recovery. And that's at www.myrecoverytoolbox.com/gift list. And I will link that in the show notes too. I hope you are having a fantastic day, and I will see you next week.
You've reached the end of another great episode of the Addiction Unlimited podcast. Candid and honest conversation about addiction and recovery. Be sure to visit us at addictionunlimited.com to join the conversation and access show notes and links to everything we talked about. Love this episode? Please take 30 seconds to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes to help us improve and give you the information you want. Thanks for listening. See you next week.